We're about to go inside of the C-suite and kick down the doors of the CEO of WellsFaber, an inspiring, incredible woman named Carol Axten. Hi, Carol. Welcome to Inside Her C-Suite on CNBC.
Wonderful to have you. Thank you so much.
It's awesome to be here, especially because you occupy a space where there are very few women at your level. How are you handling it?
I think for me, I don't actually see gender as an issue. I grew up with parents who instilled in me the ability to do and be what I wanted to be in this world, and I think that sort of allowed me to come through and take this sort of responsibility on. And it's also just the opportunities that have been afforded me. But I actually, it is a male-dominated industry. You're quite correct. But I actually don't find that to be an issue. I sort of forge ahead, and I feel that's what one needs to do. As a strong woman in this industry.
So, growing up as a kid, were you one of those kids sort of on the playground that has always been confident and strong and being able to lead, or did your leadership capacity evolve over time?
Actually, I think I've always been a strong personality. A funny story, my nickname as a child was RADA, which stands for the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. Oh. So I think I've always had a flair for everything dramatic. Absolutely. I think I was always the one possibly talking too much in class and a strong personality. So wow. Absolutely.
So at what point did you realize you could translate this strong sort of character into leadership capacity?
I think fairly early on in life. I did sort of take my time to get to this opportunity, or where I stand at the moment. But I think it was important that I did evolve, and I've learned a lot along the way towards this healthy. I think towards this leadership. I think a lot of it is empathy, having been led by various people, and empathy for my employees, for the staff. I think that's been a really good learning curve for me through the years, but I think I've always had the knowledge deep within me that I've got a strong personality and the ability to lead, just with the right opportunities that have allowed me to get to the stage.
So WellsFaber, did they recruit you? Did they come after you?
Well, it's actually a funny story. I was working with a portfolio manager prior to taking on this role, and we only had one solution to offer our clients. And I very quickly realized that I didn't want to be in a position where a client would say, Carol, I love working with you. I love the way you look after my portfolio, but it isn't performing. So I quickly decided I wanted to go on my own. I had ideas of going and creating my own FSP, my own business. And ironically, I got hold of a gentleman by the name of Jan van Niekerk, who was the CEO at a previous company of mine, and asked him to write my letter for the FSP, because in our industry you've got to go through a fair amount of regulations, etc., to get your license. And he happily did that, but he said we must chat. So I thought, nothing much of it. I then bumped into him in Cape Town airport at 6 a.m, and he said he had this opportunity, and would I consider coming to steer this ship as opposed to building up my own business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a great opportunity, and this is why I say going through life and meeting different people that add to your life. I think every single position I've had has assisted me in getting to this position where I find myself at the moment. So I feel very fortunate.
Awesome. Yeah. You are fortunate. And in the wealth management space, in the global economic situation that we're in, how are you able to keep your entire team sort of feeling confident about what's happening, and particularly with the sort of consumer confidence challenges that the country faces?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the team, we do a lot of work around our investment forums, etc., to make sure that we've got our finger on the pulse of what is going on. And also, we are not asset managers. So what I mean by that is, a wealth manager, if you have properly done the work for your client, done their risk profiling, when they're going to need to access capital, etc., the minutiae of the markets shouldn't have as much impact, because we invest for the longer term. Yeah. And a lot of these issues, like we're seeing at the moment, Brexit, etc., tend to have short-term volatility implications, but on the longer term, they tend to ride out, over the longer term.
Is there such thing, Carol, as work-life balance?
Well, as a mother of 2 young children and a wife as well, I do have a family that I do need to take into consideration. Yes. I think I'm fortunate that my husband is more flexible, so he's able to be there a lot more, and I do have an amazing team. So I call on who assist me with the children. It is a difficulty. I think as a woman you live with the guilt. You feel like you could be doing your job a bit better. You feel like you could be a mum a bit better. So I think that's something very important to balance.
And how do you reconcile in those moments where you're starting to feel guilty or whatever? How do you reconcile? Is it more of a long-term approach to go and secure my kid's future? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a longer-term approach. And when I am with the children, I am very present. Yeah. And I think it's time versus the time that you spend with them. You make it as impactful as possible. As my mum said to me, she was shocked when I was first going to go back into the job market after I had my children. And subsequently, she's actually said to me that after seeing how I'm able to do it, she is regretful she didn't have those opportunities.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
to have quality time with your kids, I think, is the important thing, and your
Good.
family.
Got it.
But it's also trying to fit in the exercise and, you know, to ensure that you're holistically staying healthy and on top of everything.
Got it.
But yeah, I've had a lot of help. There's a lot of people along the way who have given me guidance on that,
Sure.
which I've appreciated.
And just in terms of the other dynamics around keeping sort of healthy and fit and the stress dynamics, and just being able to fully sort of embrace the best, pursuing your best self. Do you have any sort of tips? Do you do yoga, Pilates?
Oh yes, love my Bikram yoga. I've started a new training program now. I actually find having an appointment to go to is important for me.
Oh, wow.
You know, if it's just getting to the gym, often there'll be something more pressing. So I actually have an appointment scheduled twice a week to go to a trainer.
That's interesting.
And I find that gets me there because, you know, once I'm there, I really enjoy it, but there's always something that can take your time.
Sure.
So for me, 100% exercise. I love my heated yoga. That keeps me relaxed. So between those two, I find that does help.
Good.
Yeah.
And just in terms of moving forward in your career and getting the right people around you, what do you look for in terms of talent?
So it's a lot. We've done a lot of work around this actually in the business since I've joined. There was very little people development work done, and we've done a lot of work around actually naming that. So what does the typical WellsFaber employee look like? And we've got a wonderful saying in our business which just says it's because of us and it's because of you. And I truly believe that the ability we have to deliver an exceptional WellsFaber experience is because of my team. So it's imperative that we have people who are well presented, who can really give top level service, because that at the end of the day is what our business is all about.
Sure.
There are a lot of people out there, and I believe by creating our culture, creating a unique culture, we can attract that top talent who want to come and work at our business. It's innovative and it's, yeah.
And it starts at the top. Like, I'm sure, do you go through your own sort of personal sort of checkups or self-audits on some level?
Absolutely, I do that on a regular basis. I do. I speak to various people. I've had input from strategy coaches, from life coaches, and I think for me, one of the most wonderful parts of this journey for me has been learning around leadership and just the input I've had from everything from having a sort of a relevant TED talk recommended to me by somebody or whatever that might be. So I feel very honoured that I've grown hugely in this journey from when I started. But also that gentleman I mentioned to you who got me involved in the business. He's been a CEO for many years and he's also given me mentorship, which has been fantastic.
Okay. So if it's a young girl watching, a young woman who's about to graduate from varsity and she's dreaming of being like you, poised, in control, figure it out, continue to evolve and grow, what would you say to her? What are some of the, maybe 2 or 3 things that she has to be thinking about to position herself to run a business like this?
Work hard is the first thing, obviously. Be dedicated. Find the balance, but be committed. Put your everything into whatever role it is that you choose you want to do. And be certain, you know, put out there where you want to be going and work actively towards that. For me would be one of the keys.
Thanks for allowing us inside of your C-suite. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so
All the
much.
best.
Thank you.